John's the speaker's not on.
John's here. He's just doing some other work.
Good. All right.
I'll mute until you need me.
Hey, John.
Yeah, Ron.
I'm not sure. This is a first for me, so following the same guidelines might be a little difficult. So we'll need, if something goes awry, just please jump in.
Oh, absolutely, I will. And generally speaking, if you just truly do follow the same guidelines in terms of sort of the process, you should be just fine. But I'm here to help as need be.
Okay, cool.
Okay, guys, this is Bella again. I'm sorry I wasn't on mute before, so you could hear me panicking, but we are live right now, so just moving forward, be aware of that. And then we're also recording. Can everyone give me a thumbs up or a verbal okay?
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
Landon and Chris are joining the meeting right now. They're hopping in the conference room. So just give us a couple minutes here and we should be good.
Can you guys see me? This is Jody.
Oh, no. Well, there's 3 of us so far. We need 1 more. I can't see Jody.
Jody, do you have a camera, Jody?
Yeah. Hold on.
There you are.
Are
Hey, guys.
Well, we got Greg here too.
No, Greg's not here. It just says Greg. I'm
Oh.
in the conference room.
Oh, okay. Good. Well, we got you.
Good. Just need 1 more for sure.
Yeah, and I think Troy is probably just trying to get in.
Yeah.
this is a first for me too.
You did it. Good for you.
Yeah, I'm not as smart as I look.
This stuff is over my head too, Priscilla.
Did anybody print the format out for the hearing?
I did not. I figured that you guys would show it.
I know, because upon that, something will have to be read by somebody besides me to pass it. And I don't see lingo. It's probably printed on somebody else's forms.
You know, I could probably, I don't know, I'm on my phone. I don't know if I could pull it up on my email if there's something you need me to read or somebody to read.
Yeah, it'll be just looking at last time.
There should be an agenda that has the agenda topic and the item number. And Landon should be able to provide most of that.
There's not many of that either, which is great.
The agenda goes deep.
What's he doing? It's just like the Brady Bunch.
Hey Ron, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Who do we have here? We've got Ron, Jody, Priscilla.
Greg Motes. Jody Motes.
Yeah.
No, Greg, just Jody.
No, Greg, just Jody. Is that your office?
Yes, it is.
Oh, is that that's Dave. More storage.
So we have only 3. We have 4? No, we have 3. Or no?
Let me see if Bella has talked to anyone else.
We got Greg, Priscilla, and or Ron, Priscilla. What are you eating, Ron?
Nuts. My lunch,
Your late lunch?
yeah. I figured I'd get on it.
I'm just sitting in. I have nothing better to do today. Hi, Priscilla.
Does anybody have a phone number for Troy?
Have what for Troy?
Does anybody have a phone number for Troy?
I might, hold, see if I can go there.
We do. Thought we were expecting Greg too.
Just about to.
Isios.
I'm on.
Hey, Dave.
I don't know why it says Jamie on there.
I have a number for Troy.
Okay,
Does anybody want it?
Yep,
you want to call him, Ron?
yeah.
396,
What is it?
hear me?
Go ahead.
396-8240.
Okay. Troy's gonna be kicking on here in about 2 minutes.
Good.
That's what I said. Hey, Landon?
And left the room. What do you need?
Okay, I was just seeing, do you guys have any of the verbiage for the motion? Yes.
I can have him print out his staff report or something. Is you want to be able to have that
This is pretty cool.
Um,
in front of you, or he can tell you? I'll go ask him.
Either way, somebody's gonna have to read it, or somebody will read it out loud and we say, okay. I mean, one of those things.
I think he can probably pull it up.
Is it how much light comes in the window?
Yeah, we're okay. I just linked back into the same meeting. I'm not sure if
Or is it in your staff report? You want to print your
Can you
staff
hear me?
report or something, or-
Yeah,
You
it's,
can pull up your staff report
yeah, I'll just,
and share the screen somehow. I don't know if it's good to share the screen.
I didn't catch this call.
I'm told we need a motion. Let me pull up my staff report real quick. Probably the most recent version is gonna be GJ Speaks. Just pull that out.
Yeah, and then just, you could just scroll to it later when you want to see it.
Can you hear me?
Troy?
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, great.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
We did it. We got 4 of us. Yay.
Yay.
Huh.
My apologies, guys. I had so many phone calls this afternoon. I totally spaced out the meeting.
No,
I'm
you're
glad-
good.
We're glad you're here.
You're not showing a pretty face though. How come?
I don't know. What is there? I don't know why it's not having my face.
That's okay.
Should be a button that
There should be
the,
a button that says video
yeah,
or something.
Start video, is that what it is?
Yeah, should red
Yep.
line through.
There I am.
Yeah.
Now we got the whole Brady Bunch there. All right.
hey. Well, we've got 4, so Ron, go ahead, it's your show.
Okay, you ready?
Yep.
All right, here we go. All right, folks, welcome to the April 28th, 2020 Grand Junction Historic Preservation Board meeting. Let's, for second starts, let's review the minutes from our March 3rd meeting. That's the first order of business, and I'm looking for approval, or actually, has everybody had a chance to read the minutes? And if so, is there a motion
I
to
did.
approve the minutes?
And I will make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, that's Priscilla making a motion to
Yes.
pass the minutes from March 3rd. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
And that's Joe seconding, and all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? All opposed? All right, motion passed. March 3rd minutes have passed. Okay, so this is the public hearing. So the public hearings are conducted pursuant of the laws of the state of Colorado, City of Grand Junction, and regulations duly adopted by Historic Preservation Board. This purpose of the hearing is to receive information and testimony by all interested parties to enable the Historic Preservation Board to make appropriate findings and reach a conclusion required to be made by law. Both a written and audio recording are made of these proceedings. Those who desire to for this to be heard must identify themselves by full name. So right now it's me, we have Chris, we have Jody, we have the board, which is Landon, and is that you, Chris?
Yes.
Okay, and then we have
The other
David.
Chris.
Okay. And Priscilla and Bella
John Shaver.
and John. Thanks, John. The purpose of the hearing is to receive information testimonies by all interested parties and enable Historic Board Preservation to make appropriate findings and reach a conclusion required made by law. Oh, I read that one too. So in order for this hearing, the order of this hearing will be as follows. Examination of application, a presentation, description, analysis of the applicant by staff, an opportunity for an applicant to present evidence and information. All other interested parties may address the board. The Historic Preservation Board may ask questions of staff, the applicant, or members of the public after each presentation. Public comment will be closed after all statements have been received. The applicant will be given the opportunity to respond if desired. Staff may respond to any statement made by the applicant, public, or board. The chair will close the public hearing with no further evidence will be accepted. The Historic Preservation Board will begin its deliberation, which will end this passage of a motion. All right, so the first item on the agenda is the public hearing before the City of Grand Junction Historic Preservation Board to hear the request for and from Chris and Heather Dennis at 640 North 7th Street. Is the applicant here?
Yes.
All right, the application, is the applicant ready to proceed?
Yes.
Is the staff ready to proceed?
Yes.
Okay. We're good?
We are, yes.
Okay, so staff, before we begin presentation of this, this notice has been completed pursuit of the city noticing requirements.
Mr. Chair, notice has been completed according to the city's requirements.
It has been, okay.
It has.
Okay, with that, we can proceed. So I think
Fantastic.
that's you, Landon.
Okay. Well, board members, let me ask before I begin, has everyone had a chance to look at my uploaded presentation and staff report on GJ Speaks?
I did.
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect.
I did.
So, great, thank you. So I'm just going to do a brief summary, and then if the board would like me to go into my full presentation, I'm certainly happy to. Or if we just want to proceed to questions for staff, I'm happy to do that as well.
And Mr. Chairman, before you proceed with that, I'd recommend that based upon what Mr. Hawes has prepared for you, that be referenced as a submission to the record.
Okay, so and that would be the video that he applied, right?
That is correct.
Okay. So I guess what I'm hearing John say is that the video that we all witnessed is a Help me out again, John.
It's a submission for your record, and that would constitute the evidence. And then if the board chooses to proceed with Mr. Hawes summarizing it, that's fine. Or certainly he can go into more detail as the board prefers, but that is the evidence that is before you this afternoon. And obviously that can be supplemented by questions to the staff and or the applicant.
Okay, well, I know I can't repeat all that. I know the evidence that Landon has done is the board okay with that being submitted as evidence?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so I think that's pretty much now. Landon, I guess you can go ahead.
Yep, that's perfect. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, appreciate it for that. Board members, just as a brief summary, the businesses have brought forward an application, certificate of appropriateness application for 3 different items. Number 1 would be demolishing the demolition of a non-historic structure on site, a small garage. Staff has found that structure to be non-historic. The second item is the construction of roughly 2,100 square foot 2-story accessory building that would be a garage on the first floor and residential space slated for an accessory dwelling unit on the second floor. And then 2 6-foot cedarwood fences on part of the property as well. Staff has reviewed all 3 applications and has found them to meet the standards set out in the North 7th Street Residential Historic District, and recommends approval of the item. So any questions for me on this? Any comments or questions for staff from the board?
Troy, did you want to talk about the siding?
Yeah, I had brought up that I don't have what I sent to you in front of me. I'm sorry, Landon. But I believe in one of the sections it talked about there was going to be wood siding on the garage, but yet there's some cement board siding submitted.
Sure. Let me see if I have, excuse me, can you all see my screen?
Perfect.
Good. Let me make sure I have the exhibit that you're talking about. Is this the one, Troy, that you were talking about?
Yes.
And remind me of your concern on that.
Well, in the description prior to those samples, it says that the garage is to be clad in wood siding similar to the house. And the submittals clearly show that that's cement board siding, not wood siding.
Sure. I'll defer to the applicants on that one. If the applicant would like to talk about that a little bit, Chris or Dave, you or if you just kind of take a stab at that.
I'll go ahead and answer that. We had originally discussed the possibility of going with some wood siding. Felt like the exposure on the existing was extremely narrow, and we felt like this particular product might work out a little bit better. We could either go with the smooth or the textured. The existing siding was rough enough that it, either one would look similar to what's existing on the house. Plus the custom-made wood siding would have to be milled. We'd have to have that manufactured and actually have knives made. So due to the cost, we decided we were going to go with this sample. So in hopes
And that's pretty much an exact match too. If you look at them and you look at the side of the house, I mean, you can
Right.
take either one of those and it's an exact match.
Well, all I would say is historically, cement board is not a historic.
But once it's painted, it'll look the exact same. I mean, you paint over wood or you paint over
They
that.
don't allow
cement
you
board, so-
in a national registered building to install cement board. And so that's, I know we're not, to that scope here, but that's my only
Well,
argument.
the cost is a big feature in that because it was going to go, I mean, the cost, if they have to mill all those and put those on, that's like that's almost like $18,000 more than the cement board. I mean, that's pretty significant.
I don't know that we necessarily consider cost in our review.
Well, we're not rich. I mean, we have to put on there what we can afford. And if we make it look the exact same, I'm not sure how anybody would be able to tell.
Board members, if I can just interject real quick. Mr. Dennis, it's true that we don't consider cost in reviewing this, but the other thing is we do know of fiber cement clad houses in the district, and it is not specifically precluded by the recommendations and the guidelines in the district. So we, it's not necessarily a historic, although it may not match the house. We do know the target clad buildings. So.
I agree.
Yeah, we drove the alleyway and on both sides, and literally there was probably 8 out of 10 buildings that were all cement board.
Okay.
That were all garages.
And I agree with you, Mr. Dennis, that the look will probably be the same. I don't disregard that. It was just more the product.
Sure.
We install it all the time.
Yeah, we wanted to look historic and everything too. We wanted to match the house.
Right.
And we found pretty much an exact match with those.
Okay. Yeah, and as far as the smooth or the textured, I don't take offense to either one, whichever one you feel matches the siding of the house, because I understand that a south facing side is probably more weathered and shows more texture than the north facing side. So it's,
Sure.
It's your decision as far as that goes, in
Sure.
my opinion. I don't know
Okay.
how the
Probably present in the district.
Fiber cement siding.
Well, if there's no preclusion in the requirements of the 7th Street Historical District, then I don't take offense with the cement board being used.
I think Priscilla here, I think I'm okay with it too. And if he said that there's a lot of it up and down the alley and we haven't, not let them do it, then I don't think it's quite fair if he doesn't get to do it, especially with the cost incurred.
It was substantial.
It is quite expensive. I know I've sourced it myself for my own house. And in fact, I handmade some myself because of the cost. So I understand that.
I agree.
Just to add a couple things on that, Chris and I just checked the code, and fiber cement is actually specifically called out as material that's allowable. So there shouldn't be any issue with that. And then
Just ensure that the form, the COA.
oh yeah, that's right. So if the item is approved, Dave and Chris, just to let you know, we would just need an updated certificate of appropriateness form submitted with adjusted plans, because your plans currently say lap siding, as does the application. So we would just to be submitted. And Ron, I would make that condition of approval, just that the application materials are changed to reflect.
And Mr. Chairman, if I might echo on that, if the representation that was made in the photograph was of a specific brand or product, it would be good to have that as well.
Okay, so you're requesting a motion to be put in place, so he needs to update his appropriateness?
That could just be part of if there's a motion of approval, I would suggest just making that a condition of approval.
Okay, and we are gonna need that in, I don't know if you were able to post that so someone can read that.
Motion, I think.
She just do that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let me share my screen.
Approval.
again.
There's no more discussion.
And Mr. Chairman, to Chris's question, or Chris Ashbeck's question, if you would ask if there are any specific presentations from the applicant. He was responding to the question from Mr. Reynolds about the siding, but he may have other information he'd like to present to the board. And then once the applicant is complete, then we need to confirm with the staff that they've received no other written comments or any other public comment on the item.
Yeah, I would need to just remind them, we're gonna need that eventually.
Sure, that's not a problem.
All right, thanks.
I have a question.
So we do,
Oh.
yeah,
Is that okay?
oh, that'll work, yeah, when we get to it, that'll work. Because we still don't need it. I mean, I just want sure that that does get up. All right, and so, John, you were saying this, I mean, we're still having a discussion over this, obviously.
Indeed, and if the applicant had anything else he wanted to specifically address, that was mostly about Mr. Reynolds' question about the siding and siding material, but he may have other presentation information for you as well.
Yeah, I don't have a presentation or anything, but I did take pictures all up and down the streets in the alleys, and I did give that to the historic district, what, probably a month ago. So I did show them pictures of the other property.
No, I don't
have them with me though.
I think we're good on that. I mean,
Okay.
Everything's fine on that.
Okay.
You have anything else you want to bring to the board?
No, not really, unless Dave has something he needs to say.
I'm trying to follow along. I'm getting a little bit of feedback on the, like an echo on the audio, but I don't think that we have any other questions unless somebody else has any specific questions on any of the materials that are being used or the style, or I think everybody has already probably taken a look at some of the drawings in the proposed building.
And that's true. I think that was all in Landon's demonstration or his presentation.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Jody.
Oh, okay. Just a clarification more than anything. From the picture, the drawing, can you tell me what the pitch of the existing roof and the pitch of the new garage is? Is it the same or different?
I believe what I've drawn is an 812 pitch on the new proposed building. Best guess without jumping up on a ladder to, it's approximately the same pitch on the existing building. We're using something from the ground to determine that pitch. But it can be plus or minus a half an inch.
Oh, okay. So it's that close. Good. Thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions for the applicant or staff?
Oh, I'm good.
Okay.
So are there any other questions for applicants?
None from me.
None for me.
None for me.
Okay. All right, so it's, if there are no other questions, at this time, I will open this public hearing up to any public comments. Please direct any questions to the board, not the applicant or staff. The board may not directly respond to the questions, but may choose after public comments to ask the applicant or the staff to address specific questions. Do we have any questions from any public?
Do we have any public?
Priscilla, I don't think we have any members of the public here, but we did receive one public comment that was posted on GJ Speaks, our public engagement platform, yesterday. Have all the board members had a chance to read that, or do I need to read that into the record?
If I would like you to read that for the record, please.
Okay. Well, yeah, let's just take a look at that real quick. This is Clark Reeves. And this is a comment that I received yesterday, and we uploaded it. Says, Dear Mr. Hawes, I'm writing regarding the proposed demolition and replacement of 2 buildings at 640 North 7th Street. On a property in the 7th Street Historical District. I reviewed the plan elevations for the new structure. The shape of the new garage does not seem historically appropriate. The finishes do seem appropriate. Driving around the block and alley of the applicant, I think would be unfair to prohibit the applicant's project on aesthetic grounds. It makes me wonder if we should have a historic district at all. I do have 2 concerns that I hope can be addressed in the applicant's project. I've seen the intersection of 7th and Gunnison underwater several times from storm runoff. Current plans show lots paved driveway area in addition to a larger garage. This will allow far less stormwater to absorb into his lot, increasing stormwater runoff into the Gunnison intersection. I hope the same can be found. I would propose a permeable driveway or less paving. The 7th Street Historical District has obvious curb appeal. The shade line street and deep porches indicate what the successful founders of our community saw, relief from the summer heat. Another large structure and paved surface will add to the radiating heat in the neighborhood. Less paved area, and for the requirement of as much tree shading as possible. I wish the applicant many years of happiness on 7th Street. Thank you for the opportunity to comment respectfully. Just to speak to some of the applicant's comments from the perspective of the staff. We don't have any, we can't enforce any kind of permeable driveway or the additional trees added to the property. Those are certainly suggestions that can be made or requests, but those are not binding on that.
Does this Mr. Reeves, is he in the 7th Street District as well?
He does own a property in the district. My understanding is that he doesn't live there, but he does own property there.
Okay.
So am I correct in assuming he is concerned about the amount of runoff?
He is, yes.
Okay. As far as addressing the amount of runoff, there is already an existing structure that's there that does have a certain amount of runoff on the total roof area. We're not really going to be increasing it all that much. I haven't done the actual calculations on how many square feet of impermeable surface is there. I mean, there's always the possibility that we could reduce some of the driveway parking area in front of the garage.
I mean, if we could have brought it out to the street, we would have done that if that was approved, but they didn't like that.
Right. Yeah, I don't think our engineering department was thrilled about that idea. So.
I just think personally on a note, if you were to do anything, you would get and we can talk about this later, and I'm not sure John needs to direct me, but like a landscape architect or somebody would do under, you bury the downspouts and do pop-up drains so you don't have a rush with a dry well below. I mean, that's something, if it turns into something, a homeowner has his own responsibility to repair that himself.
And Mr. Chairman, that's correct. And generally, my advice is that comment is outside of the consideration of the certificate of appropriateness.
That's correct.
Certainly the drainage and the comments relative to the ultimate development of the property are valid concerns, but your specific jurisdiction is on the COA.
That's correct.
Yeah, there's a 5-foot zone, a buffer zone in between the alley and the property, and that's all gonna be grass back there, so it'll just be dripping back in the grass.
All right. Well, that doesn't really concern this HO or this appropriateness, but I'm sure you'll take care of that if a problem does.
Yeah, if something came up.
Good deal. So with this, with that reading, then is it at this time we can close the public comment portion of this hearing?
We can.
Okay.
Sure.
Would the applicant like to provide any responses to anything else he's heard during this meeting?
No, I'm good.
Okay, you're good,
Nothing
Chris?
from-
Yep.
Dave?
Nothing from me.
Okay. Are there any questions for the applicant from staff at this time?
We don't have any other questions for the applicant, Mr. Chair.
Okay. All right, so at this time, we will close the public hearing and we will turn to the Historic Preservation Board for discussion, deliberation, and a motion. So any discussion from the board members?
No, I'll just say, you know, the man's comment about the building not being historically correct, I mean, I think that the design of the building is probably as house as you get with a, you know, with a 3-car garage. Certainly when the house was built in 1905, an automobile was a rare thing. And it's difficult to build 3-carriage houses on the property. Like it's historically correct, you know?
Stalls.
Okay, so if there are no other further discussions, I'd like to ask for a motion. And the motion is basically printed in front of us. If anybody, I can just need one of the board members to read that of the suggested motion. Can anybody read it?
Mr. Chair, I apologize, just to interject real quick, just to make sure that whoever makes the motion adds that condition, just that application materials should be revised.
Yes.
Changes in the project.
Right, and do, so is that something we would add after that, or like, I mean, just make sure that it's noted upon that suggested motion when we read it, that there's the photo of siding. What's that?
Just read it as is and then just add with the condition that
Okay,
materials be amended.
That's correct. And then certainly if there's a brand specific or material specific that was represented in the photograph.
Okay.
and that's pretty much, you just want to call it cement board?
Yeah, that'll work for us.
Okay. Okay. All right, so we do need suggested motion to be read, and also must be updated stating that the certificate of appropriate, or the application needs to be updated with the conditions of cement board siding versus the wood lap that was talked about originally.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make the motion. On the item COA 2020-86, an application for a certificate of appropriateness for the proposed demolition of an accessory structure, construction of an accessory structure, and construction of fences at 640 North 7th Street. I move that we approve the request and add that we ask the applicant to provide as much specific information about the cement board, including the manufacturer and the type, in lieu of the wood siding that is described previously in the COA.
Okay,
That motion.
is it, and that was the second?
Yes, that was Priscilla seconding Dingy.
Thank you, Priscilla. Are there any discussions on this motion?
I just want to say I'm glad that we've got this over and approved, and I look forward to driving by and watching his progress.
Nice. Okay. At
Thank
the completion of discussion, hearing no further discussions, there has been a motion and a second. All in favor?
I,
All
Aye.
opposed? All opposed? And the motion passes. Is there any other business to be brought before the commission this evening?
Board members, I'll just say one thing before we adjourn. We have canceled next week's historic preservation meeting. It doesn't seem necessary to have 2 meetings back to back. So we'll look forward to reconvening and hopefully we'll be able to meet in person by then and get back to a sense of normalcy.
All right, good. Well, Mr. Chris Dennis, it is passed, and then you have the green light to go ahead and proceed with your project. Sorry for the delays, but you've been a champ waiting and submitting as you needed. So thank you for the
Okay.
wait.
Thank you very much.
I do have a question.
Dennis?
Yeah.
The certificate of appropriateness, that was for the construction of the new building. Now, as far as the demo portion of that, are we good to go there as well?
That was all part of this agreement, yes.
Okay. Just wanted to clarify.
Dave, I'm just going to interject on that real quick. You do need to get a planning clearance for the demolition and for the construction, which my understanding is that you have those in. But if there are any of those 3 planning clearances that you haven't submitted, then go ahead and submit those. That should take more than a day or 2 to take care of.
I have submitted those planning clearances, a couple of weeks ago, and it included the demolition of the existing building.
Very good. Well, those get issued.
Okay.
Make sure they get the revised COA
Oh,
attached to the flooding permits.
And thanks, Chris. Dave, if you just want to email those plans, if the planning clearance, well, you might need to revise the one plan if it's showing wood siding. If it's showing lap siding, then all you need to do is just resubmit the certificate of appropriateness application with just revised elevations showing that it's going to be cement board instead of lap siding. Does that make sense?
No, that's for the planning clearance. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I can do that.
Okay.
And I'm sorry to bring this up so late, but what about the fence? Do we have to approve the fence, or have we did we see pictures of the fence?
As part of the motion, the third part of the construction of fences.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Priscilla. Okay, as long as we get that revised application material, then we'll just work on approving those planning clearances, and then you'll be able to go to the Mesa County Building Department and get that approved. And David, it sounds like you already submitted plans for them as well. So once they get the planning clearance, it should go pretty quick.
All right. Yeah, I think the building permit has been approved already.
Okay, very good.
I have not submitted for a demolition permit yet. I'm required to, that's an over-the-counter permit, and I am required to have a planning clearance in order to submit that.
Very good.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thanks, everyone. Ron, it's up to you if you want to join us or not. We can keep going if you want, but otherwise we'll wait for you to join us.
Yep, I'd just like to know if there's a motion on the floor to adjourn the meeting, please.
I motion to adjourn the meeting.
In a second.
I'll second it.
All right, that was Jody. And all in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
All right. Guys, thanks for all the help and stepping in and doing this with us all.
It was
Appreciate
good, y'all.
Yep.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.